All right, so good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our second Student Success Seminar, and this one is all about the mindset for engineering students. So before I jump in, can everyone see my my PowerPoint slide on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. So let's get started. So when it comes to getting through your engineering degree, your mindset is one of the biggest factors that's going to come into play. A lot of people just assume that to be an engineer, you just have to be naturally smart or naturally gifted or naturally good at math, but you actually have to work at it. And your mindset is a big part of being able to work at it. So one of the things you need to have in your mindset when you're pursuing your engineering degree and your engineering classes is do not quit. You must keep trying. Keep trying when you cannot figure out that homework assignment. Keep trying when you cannot figure out why your circuit is not working. Keep trying when you cannot understand the lecture. Keep trying when you don't understand what's in the textbook. You cannot quit. You have to keep trying. And so this picture on the right is a picture of Thomas Edison. And a lot of people note him as someone who, like it says in the picture, failed his way to success because of how many times he had to try to get the right filament in order to create light via a light bulb. So one of the quotes that I looked up for Thomas Edison is right here on the screen. Basically, it says, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is to always try just one more time. And when I read that, it made me think about the fact that he tried over 1,000 times in order to get the right filament to produce light. What would have happened if after 999 tries, he quit? Like, how would our progress as a society have changed or shifted if he just stopped? And it took him literally that many tries. So when we're thinking about going through our engineering courses, the idea that you're not going to quit has to be a part of your mindset, because it's very easy after you get the problem wrong for the third time or the fourth time to just say, well, I'm never going to figure this out, or I'm never going to figure out what's wrong with my circuit. It's very easy to just quit because it's hard. It's hard to push through. But part of your mindset is definitely got to be, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to try one more time until I figure this out. That's got to be a part of your mindset when going through your courses. The reason why you need that is because as you're training, basically right now you're training to become an engineer. An engineer is a professional problem solver. All you're going to get paid to do is solve problems, and you can't solve a problem if you quit trying at some point. So, learning that skill now is just going to carry over into your career whenever you graduate and start looking for jobs. So mindset, habit number one, don't quit, keep trying. And let's sort of dive into that a little bit deeper. So I did some research and I looked up an article. It's from success.com. It's called The 7 Reasons We Fail. And I sort of pulled out those 7 reasons and a small quote about each one that I really thought was a great way to sort of help people self-reflect on why they didn't hit a goal. So when it says on the screen, 7 reasons we fail, by fail, I'm just talking about 7 reasons we didn't hit that goal. The goal might be losing weight or gaining muscle or getting your degree or running a marathon. I mean, the goal could be anything. And these 7 reasons sort of encapsulate the reasons why we might not hit that target. And in the concept of this course, we're going to be talking about the 7 reasons why you might not pass the class, pass an exam, graduate, things like that. And like I said, the link is at the bottom of the screen if you want to go read this article on your own. But here are the 7 reasons that this article says that we fail. And I really just loved these reasons. So reason number 1, lack of persistence. So persistence definitely falls into that idea of don't quit, keep trying. And persist in what must be done and resist what ought not to be done. So the idea of persistence is one reason why you may not reach a goal, because you didn't keep trying. You didn't have the persistence to get back up and try again. Or another reason is lack of conviction, not, wholeheartedly deciding that you're going to commit to a goal is one of the reasons why you might not reach that goal. So you have to decide what is important to you. Is worth doing, it's worth doing right and doing well. So I think that sort of ties into thinking about the motivations for why you're in this program. Hopefully most of you have a strong reason or a passion or you know, a strong motivation for why you're here. And that lack of conviction is what's going to push you to try one more time, even when it's hard. So if you don't have that lack of conviction, it's easy to give up. Another reason why we fail is rationalization. This is a fancy word for making excuses. Oh, the professor's too hard. The book is too long. I don't have enough time. I can't learn this. I'm not smart, blah, blah, blah. You know, rationalization is one of the reasons why we can talk ourselves out of accomplishing a goal. So don't rationalize and have a book of excuses to tell why you couldn't succeed. Just try to change your perspective instead. So even if the professor is hard, well, you can't change the professor, but what can you change about you in order to get through that class? And that's something that I was sort of raised to believe, you know, it's not the teacher's fault that you didn't learn something. You know, you've got to figure out in how to learn that thing, and don't even let the teacher be the one to stand in your way. So if I remember there were certain classes I took where I had a hard time understanding the professor. One of my professors had a very thick Russian accent, for example. Couldn't understand a word he said. So I knew that I wasn't going to get the information I needed directly from the teacher because he was just so hard to understand. So then it becomes a matter of using your resources. Okay, well, if I can't get what I need from the teacher, as bad as that sounds, how else can I get it? I can read the book, I can do a study group, I can get online, I can find a student who already took this class for tutoring. I mean, something. But rationalization is very easy to you know, talk yourself out of why there are reasons you can't succeed, when in reality, if you change your perspective, you can get through it. So try not to rationalize. Another thing is dismissal of past mistakes. Failure is a teacher if we have the right attitude. Wise people learn from their mistakes. So that goes directly back into, if you didn't do well on last week's homework, you need to go back and figure out why. If you didn't do well over the course of an entire semester and you failed a course, you got to go back and figure out why. Don't just dismiss it and say, oh, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to try again. If you're not reflecting on what went wrong the first time, history will repeat itself. So try not to dismiss your past mistakes. Lack of discipline. So I know this one hits for a lot of people because we live in a distraction-based society. Our phones, our computers, technology, they thrive off of distracting you. So discipline is even harder today than I think it's ever been because we have so many things vying for our attention. So just not being able to focus and not having that discipline could also be a reason behind not hitting the goal that you're going after. And then another one is poor self-esteem. What you say to yourself will become true. So try not to label yourself. You might have failed, but you're not a failure until you stop trying. So the way that you speak to yourself is huge. If you tell yourself you're not smart, if you tell yourself you can't do it, if you tell yourself you're never going to figure it out, that's probably what's going to happen. If you tell yourself that you will figure it out, then that's probably what's going to happen. So think about the way you're talking to yourself. And the way that you might pump yourself up or put yourself down. And that might factor into how well you're actually hitting or achieving your goals. And then the last one is a fatalistic attitude. You might not have control over every phase of your life, but you have more control than you realize, and you're responsible for your own happiness and success. And that just goes to say that, you know, you do have a choice. You can try one more time on that problem, or you cannot. You can blame the professor, or you can try to figure out how to do better. You can blame a system, blame time, blame your family, blame your friends, blame whoever. But at the end of the day, you know, you have a choice, and you can make a choice to do something that's going to get you closer to your target or further away. So when we think about the mindset for engineering, and even just your mindset in general, when you're trying to achieve a goal, these are some of the things that might stand in your way. So I point on these out just to say that if you have a goal that you've been trying to reach, including getting through your engineering degree, and you're not making progress, one of these reasons might be why, and it's just something to think about. Any questions or thoughts on any of those so far?
I like that. I like the article. I was quickly browsing it.
Yeah, it was really well written, so definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I have
I
not.
just I shared it with one of my friends too.
Awesome. Yeah, I have not read many articles from this particular website, success.com, but that article was so good that I definitely think I would browse that website for some other, like, inspiring stuff. So definitely use it if it helps you. All right, the next thing about mindset: knowledge is more important than mediocre grades. We kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but I'm going to kind of approach it from another angle. So it's not enough to stumble upon the right answer or to get it wrong and not fix it because you tried. It's certainly not enough to cheat in order to get an A. So a lot of people definitely have a mindset for their education as I just need to get this grade. I need a piece of paper that says I had this letter grade in my class. And as long as I did that, I'm doing well. But that's actually not going to take you very far. If you got a mediocre grade or if you cheated and got an A, none of that really matters. What matters is when you enter the working world, there aren't any grades. No one's going to be giving you an A or a B or a C on your work, but you're going to have to be able to explain what you're doing to your peers or your supervisors. You need the knowledge so that you can explain your work. Engineering is a field where you're going to be working in teams and you're going to be solving problems. And you have to be able to have the knowledge to solve the problem and to share that knowledge with others. So at the end of the day, what you know about engineering is more important than a mediocre grade. And employers are going to be looking for actions. They're going to be looking for what you can do in the field. So if you can walk into an interview and you can explain what you know, if you can go into your first job and within a couple of weeks be able to show that you're an effective communicator and that you have the knowledge to do the task, that's what's important. So your mindset has got to be, I have to understand these concepts, not I have to get an A. Besides that, if you focus on understanding the concepts, the A will come. It'll come naturally because you're understanding the material. So knowledge over grades, that's what that means. So as you are working towards your degree, and if you're looking to enter the engineering workforce once you're done, your goal should be to get the knowledge first. Knowledge first, grades come later. Grades will follow. And this ties back directly into the focus on understanding, not memorizing study habit that we talked about in the last seminar. So the next part of mindset is self-confidence. These are a couple of quotes that I pulled. I thought they were pretty good in terms of thinking about self-confidence. And this goes back to also one of the 7 ways that we fail is self-esteem. So, think about how you feel about yourself as you're going through your degree. And if you don't have some self-confidence, if you don't believe that you can do it, I would work on trying to change that viewpoint. And like I said, what you believe you're going to achieve is most likely what you're actually going to achieve. So if you don't really think that, you're going to be able to figure a problem out or get through a class, that's probably what's going to happen. So, pump yourself up, tell yourself that you can do it. And not only that you can do it, but that you're going to do what it takes to do it. That's the important part. You're going to take action and do what it takes. So these are some of the quotes I pulled that I sort of liked about self-confidence. And especially the one in gray on the bottom right, what you tell yourself every day will either lift you up or put you down. And that's going to affect how you're going to perform. So think about how you're talking to yourself. And then the next one is to embrace teamwork. So again, when you get your jobs in the engineering world, you're always going to be working within a team. And whether or not you like the people that you're working with, you still have to be able to produce results together. So as a student, you should be practicing this skill as well. You can build your teamwork skills with other students with directed groups. That means your professors are assigning you to groups, or you can form your own study groups. There is a way in Canvas that you can reach out to other students. You can make your own discussion posts. You can send messages to other students. So if you want to form a group and you don't really know anyone in the class, you can form a discussion post and introduce yourself and, ask if anyone wants to join a study group. You can exchange contact information and you can go from there. Obviously, if we were on campus right now, you could just network with the other students in your face-to-face class. But you should be embracing teamwork. And I have a good story about that one. I'll go back to my example of the professor I had who spoke in this thick Russian accent I could never understand. So this was for probability and statistics. I started out the semester failing everything, every quiz, failed, homework, failed. And I was getting ready to drop the class. And it was the first class ever in my college career that I was going to withdraw from, because I figured I'm failing everything and I don't understand the professor, and I read the book and I still don't get it, and I don't really know what else to do. And as I'm pondering this, I walk past the library one day and I see a group of students who are also in the same class. And I know these students are the smartest students in my graduating class. So out of my entire graduating class, I'm in the same classroom with students who I know get A's on everything. I did not know these students, but for some reason I felt compelled to ask them how they were doing in the class, because I felt like I didn't understand a thing. So I asked this group of students, are you guys, I'm failing everything. Do you guys understand what's going on in the class? Can you help? And they said, oh yeah, we're failing everything too. And then I realized, if the smartest students I know are failing this class and I'm failing this class, I probably shouldn't withdraw. We're either all going to fail together, or there's got to be a giant curve at the, or something. It just made me realize I wasn't alone, and that maybe I could network with these students and we could all try to figure out how to get through the class together. So I started studying with them, still continue to fail almost everything. But when final grades were posted, I got an A in the class. So I was getting 50% on everything. They were probably getting 53% on everything. And then the professor decided to curve based on who was doing the best out of all the students. I didn't know that's how the grading was going to work. But if I hadn't networked with those students and started studying with them, I wouldn't have ever known that there were other people who were floundering like I was, and we sort of stuck together. And it all worked out. Please don't ask me anything about probability and statistics. I still feel like I learned nothing. I definitely, I could not answer the simplest question, but I got an A in the class. I passed the class. And since I was a computer engineering major, I didn't think I was going to need prob and stat for anything much in the future. And I didn't really worry about the knowledge that I didn't get. Now, if that had been a core class, that'd be a totally different story, because you don't want to go into your next class. You don't want to take Digital Systems 1, get an A, know nothing, and then go into Digital Systems 2. It will be a disaster. But yeah, so I got through the class, but that was because I started networking with other students. So group work can be a huge help. The most important thing about forming a group, though, is that you want to make sure that you guys are communicating with each other, listening to each other. You have a clearly defined purpose and a plan for getting the work done. It's very easy to get together as a group and in today's day, start watching Netflix and never get anything done. So make sure you have a purpose and a plan for what you're going to do with the time that you meet. And then lastly, don't use group work as a crutch. Learning in teams has many benefits, but you do not have a team on your exams. So you've got to make sure that you feel that you know just as much as everyone in the group knows. If you're relying on the group to help you with your homework, if you're relying on the group to help you with your lab reports, and you can't do those things on your own eventually, then that's what's going to happen on the exams. So what we don't want is for this to be you. Every group project in school you've ever done, there's one person who does 99% of the work, one person who has no idea what's going on the whole time. You got one person who says he's going to help, but he's not. And you've got that person who disappears at the beginning and shows up at the very end. I think we've all been in a group like this at some point. I know I have. So we don't want this to be your group. We want this to be, an evenly distributed field where everyone is contributing, collectively together. So group work can be a great part of your mindset. So if you're struggling, you should be looking for other students to partner with and study with together. And then another part of your mindset, practice makes perfect. On the screen, I randomly selected individuals from athletics, medicine, from government, and from technology. All of these people are the top of their game in their fields. All of these people were once amateurs. There was a point in time where LeBron James had never shot a basketball, or Taylor Swift had never sung a note. There was a point in time where they had to start and they had to learn. So all of these people on the screen became what they were because of how much they practiced, because of how much time they put in. They also became who they were because they practiced the way they were going to play. So if you're on a basketball team and you go up to practice every day and you only give a 50% effort, then that's exactly what you're going to do in the game. Engineering is the same way. If you're giving a 50% effort on your homework and you're not really trying and you're just kind of putting some stuff down and you're hoping that it's right, and then you get your homework back and it's a D or an F, that's what you're going to get in the exam. So practice how you're going to play. And if you have that mentality, then practice makes perfect. So every single one of these people didn't become great because they were born with it. They became great because they put in countless hours of practice. Now, I know all of you guys are not going to become the greatest engineer in the world. Well, maybe you could be, but I know that may not be your goal. But the idea is still the same. If you want to get better at engineering, you've got to practice it. Practice, it means homework, lecture notes, watching the videos, reading the book, asking questions, and repeating that cycle for things that you don't understand. That's how you become better. That's how you get better, just like these people got better at what they do. So another part of your mindset, practice makes perfect. And then the last thing I have, this is the very last thing, I have 3 quotes on the screen. The first one says, I am responsible for every result in my life if I want different results. I have to change my thoughts and actions. Second one says, you can have results or excuses, but not both. And the third one says, a little progress each day adds up to big results. What is the key theme in all 3 of these? Results. And at the end of the day, as an engineer, it's not about what you tried to do. It's not about what you tried to read in the textbook or what you tried to do in multisim. It's about what you produced, what your results were. So in order to get results, you have to have a mindset that's going to help you build your skills in order to deliver on those results. So those are just some things to think about in terms of mindset. If you're going to graduate, you're going to have to, and if that's your result, then you're going to have to do the work it takes to graduate, not make excuses about why you couldn't, I guess is my point. And then 2, a little bit each day adds up, a little bit each day. So even if you only have 10 minutes to look at your lecture notes, or even if you only have 10 minutes to rework one homework problem that you got wrong last week, take the 10 minutes, because those little increments of time, they all add up. And I think that was my last thing. Yes, okay, that was my last point. So that's all I wanted to say about your mindset as you're going through your engineering courses. And so next week, we'll have our 3rd and final student success seminar. And next week, we're going to discuss misconceptions, common misconceptions that engineering students have that stop them from being able to be successful. So that'll be the last one. Don't forget, after each one of these, you have to do the reflection and take a short quiz over what we discussed. So are there any questions about what I've shared today?
No, just all good information. Absolutely. Don't give up. Keep studying.
Yep.
Be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope this helps. I definitely know last semester was hard for a lot of students, and I personally saw a lot of students withdraw for various reasons, but some of them, admittedly, they kind of gave up on themselves. They didn't want to try anymore. And the only way you're not going to get to, the one sure way you're not going to get to where you want to go is if you stop trying to get there, right?
Right.
So I say all this to say that I hope, you can think about where you're going with this degree, why you're going there, and what you're going to do to make it happen. One of the things you've got to do is make sure you have the right mindset. So that's the purpose of this particular seminar. Caesar, were you going to say anything?
No. I just try to listen to you. I listened to you. Everything is fine.
Okay, good. Well, that's all I had. So I'm going to end the meeting right here. If you guys have any questions or need anything throughout the week, as always, let me know. And I hope I'll see you guys next week for our last one.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
you.
appreciate it.